You were good, okay?
Thank you.
Can we get started?
Yeah, we can get started. Mpho, I just need you to clap for me, please.
Cool, no problem. Let me know when.
Okay. Okay, hi guys, my name is Eddie from SA Film Chronicles, and I'm going to be interviewing you guys about Collision. Thank you very much for joining me, and thanks for making yourself available.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us, bro.
So first things first, I want to know who's the funniest person in the cast? Like, who's the funniest?
The funniest person.
Person or character?
The funniest person.
Person.
Like, yeah.
Person.
It's probably Vazi.
No.
Actually, it's Voyo.
Voyo.
Has these moments.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd say Vazi.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say it's
wow.
I just do stupid things.
Okay, well, you know, speaking of Vazi, I want to ask you, like, how do you think the audience can relate to your character?
I feel like Cecil is a dream chaser, and he represents every young adult's dream in terms of having to chase that dream. You know what I mean? His whole thing about the film is him chasing a dream and him being a lover of the dream.
Yeah.
So I feel like people will fall in love or relate rather with his choices that he's made, because the choices that he does are literally for his dream, which is the music and finding love.
Yeah.
That's going to be quite an interesting thing to see when it comes to Cecil.
Yeah. And you know, you speak of love. Now, I mean, you know, you two, such a beautiful couple. Zoe, please just tell us, what did it feel like being in an interracial relationship?
Being in an interracial relationship.
Yeah.
I enjoyed every moment on set. Vazi made me feel so comfortable with all the scenes that need to be done, because this was also my first acting job completely.
Oh, yeah.
So beyond interracial relationship, it was like my first time kissing someone on screen, my first time being in that whole situation, and I can honestly say I couldn't have asked for a better person to be there and to act with me and to do that with me, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah. And still on you, Zoe, I know you've got an artistic background. You know, I've seen some of your beautiful art pieces, and you know, art is a form of expressing yourself. How did you express yourself as an actress in Collision?
Sure. So when I express myself through my visual art, I love to challenge people and challenge people's perspectives on things. So being able to be part of Collision was very cool, because I think Collision challenges viewers, it challenges perceptions. So it was easy for me to come through and channel this creative energy, knowing that it's bringing up a conversation, it's starting a conversation, it's challenging perspectives. So I was really aligned with that idea.
Yeah. And Mpho Sebeng,
What up, King?
I just want to ask you, like, how did it make you feel selling out your bestie's girlfriend to a sex trafficking syndicate?
Man, look, I felt terrible. To be honest, I didn't know. I don't think my character knew what he was doing until he did it. You know, sometimes they say you don't know what you're doing until you start doing it. So call me clueless because I do this. So I didn't know. I was clueless in what I was doing. So it definitely broke my character's heart. Yeah.
And I also want to know, I mean, we recently did an interview for Savage Beauty, which is also a Netflix, it's a Netflix series.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, what was the difference in terms of, in terms of getting into character in Savage Beauty compared to Collision?
Well, the two characters are completely different people. They have completely different backgrounds. Thando was born and bred literally in Joburg. He lives in the concrete jungle. He is the concrete jungle. He is a hustler of note. Whereas the other character played on Savage Beauty, which was Bonga, comes from, you know, the hood, and he has his own PTSD background that he needs to deal with. Whereas Thando is a young boy who's coming of age, who's just trying to make it out of, you know, the concrete jungle, untainted. Yeah.
And specifically, you're a TV presenter, right? And you've done some amazing work on, don't want to mention the name, but Dugu Dugu, let's keep it at that. Can you just tell the audience the difference in terms of being in camera for TV presenting compared to shooting a feature film?
So the difference between shooting a feature film and being a presenter is that in presenting, the first rule and my first love is the camera. The camera is my best friend. I interact with the camera, I love the camera, I communicate with the camera, and when I am doing a feature film, the camera doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is the world that I am playing in at that particular time. You know, if Cecil comes to life, he's alive with Nicki, with Mpho at that particular time, and there are no characters, and the experience that I am having at that moment, or rather my character that is having at that moment, is to try and live it as truthfully as I possibly can. But I guess where the similarities come in is the truthfulness of the performance. As a presenter, you still have an obligation to perform for camera, and as an actor, you have an obligation to perform with your fellow colleagues. So the performance is still for camera, but how it's taken are two different mediums per se. So I've been lucky enough to be able to separate the two.
Okay, Zoe, tell me, what was the biggest challenge in Collision? In being part of this production, what was your biggest challenge?
Sure. I think my biggest challenge was a sense of imposter syndrome, which is such a personal journey where when you watch it, when it comes out on the 16th, you'll see the actors are incredible. Like, it's such an all-star cast. People give stunning performances. And obviously I'm arriving there and I had so much fear around, am I going to be good enough? Am I going to be as good as the other people? And I think that was my biggest challenge in filming, is trying to overcome that imposter syndrome and feel like I deserve to be there.
And it's also the most difficult thing, you know, because you never see other people's scenes. So we also see the film when everyone else sees the film. Because I'm just like, I don't know how Brasol played that because I was not in that scene. I was probably in the green room, you know, and I'm playing what I think is best, you know. So I think.
Wow, actually, from an audience perspective, like the audience we don't really know that. I think many people will agree that, you know, when people see you on screen, we think that, oh no, they've all watched it, you know. But it's actually quite surprising that it's also your first time seeing it. That's really quite cool.
I don't know their scenes together. I don't know anyone's scenes together besides the scenes that I've been in.
But also, I think that's the nature of the film Collision. You know, it's different worlds, you know, with different backgrounds, all revving up to this particular moment where all of these different worlds collide. That's what Collision is about anyway, you know. So when you watch it on the 16th of June, I think, you know, it'll make sense why, you know, as Paige just said that, you know, we didn't necessarily see each other's scenes. So we didn't just not see each other's scenes, but we were also hardly together because of how, you know, the scene, or rather the movie plays out and how it all comes together.
And also I want to get into the behind the scenes of it. What's an average day like on set?
Terrible.
I loved it. What are you talking about?
Okay, well, so you said that you loved it. So tell us, from the morning when you wake up to when you go to bed, what's just a summary of what your average day was?
Sure, so it was so cool. Like, it was usually either really early or it would be running late in the evening. So a driver would come and fetch you and you have chats in the car with the driver. I don't know if you guys had chats, but I was chatting. And then you get there's catering, you get a breakfast and something, and then you get to go into shooting your scenes, and it's so much fun because you have so much time behind scenes with everyone where we're getting to know each other better as people, which then plays into us being able to play our roles better because we understand each other better. Just so much time to all hang out, and it's really special. I really enjoyed the experience.
Look, when I say terrible, I'm like, if my call time is 3 p.m., then that means I only get to go home at 3 a.m. Do you get what I mean? Because I mean, we were shooting at night. It was June, July. It's cold. That was just the only thing, which is like, oh my word, when do I get to go home? But when you're actually shooting and you're part of a scene, because you wait for your scenes at the end of the day, do you know what I mean? It's a hurry up and wait industry at the end of the day, and we all have different experiences of it. Some people are just like, oh, can my scene come up now so that I can, I mean, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Who wants to be up at 3 a.m. in the morning?
Okay, guys, just to sum up the whole our media junket, I just want to ask you all individually. We'll start with Mpho. What is the one message you would like to give to a young aspiring actor that wants to, walk the path that you've walked?
First and foremost, put in the work, put in the 10,000 hours. Acting is just like any other career where it's important to get skilled. You may be talented, but it's also important to make sure that you hone your craft. And honing your craft doesn't mean just getting a 3-year degree. It means going for workshops every other year, working on something. For me, one of the things that I always try to do is to become the most complete actor. So every year I will learn a particular skill. It's important for actors to be well-rounded in different skills, because tomorrow you could play someone that needs to ride a horse. Do you know how to ride a horse? No. Do you know how to use guns? No. Do you know how to drive properly?
Sing.
Sing. So exactly what you had to do. So it's important to be well-versed and well-rounded in the skills that you accumulate. So making sure that you go to school to study, making sure that you go for workshops, continuously reading, having an eager mind is also important. But before I leave, I just want to say, guys, please do check out Collision on the 16th of June. It is going to be like a maza. That's what I'm going to say. What you need to say, bro.
Yeah. And specifically?
Well, from my side, look, at the end of the day, just being on screen doesn't make you an actor. I always say that I was an actor before I was on screen as an actor, because before I started going for my first auditions, I was doing workshops and classes, and I just got an opportunity to play on screen, but I've been playing off screen, so that screen doesn't validate me as an actor. So as a young actor coming up, just because you haven't had your big break yet, to be on a telenovela, a film, or whatever screenplay, doesn't mean that you are not an actor. If you're an actor, you're an actor by your habits and by what you consume and learn about the craft itself. Like Mpho said, being a complete actor is a journey. You have to keep an open mind about everything. Want to learn. Make sure that when you get an opportunity to be at a space where you're just observing people. Like, one of my most favorite things that I used to do as a kid was people watching, and I didn't know that I was going to make money off it one day, and people watching made me realize that, oh, I've seen this before. I've seen someone react like this. I've seen a situation like this before. That helps me create and mold my character today.
Yeah. And Zoe?
I think just any person should just do inner work with themselves so that they build up their own confidence and that they have those structures, because there is a lot of rejection in the industry. You do go to castings and they say no thank you, and you can't go home and be like, oh, now I'm worthless, and cry and never continue. So just understanding that there's a lot of rejection and there's a lot of times where it's not going to go your way, but you need to have that inner support structure within yourself, that confidence, believe you can do it, manifest those things, and if you don't get it, it's not to say that there's not something just around the corner that's even better for you.
Wow, guys, amazing. It's such an honor to be sitting here and having a conversation about Collision and coming out on the 16th of June. So I know South Africa and the world are looking forward to seeing you guys on screen, and you guys absolutely killed it. I'm looking forward to seeing you in more productions. And thank you very much for joining me today, guys.
Thank you so much.
Tig.